Kunjani, I go by the name of DJ DeezyD. Baban Kitty Felaban Pizza number 1 certified Victory Hustler. Welcome to the podcast. This one is the first podcast of football ever, if not in Africa. I don't know. But Mumzazi, do we have any?
Not according to my recollection. Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
So, you know what gonna be happening in this podcast? Yeah, firstly, let me start clarifying. The name of the podcast is Let's Talk Football with DeezyD. That's all about anything that has to do with football. Anything. I think he's saying.
No stress.
Yeah. Before they say I'm going to introduce my guest. This show is very special to me because it's a heavyweight. One of the best. BigGuy M. My brother.
My brother?
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, we even do handshakes. Corona
free.
It's an honor, man, to be in your space. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this kind of content.
Bona, thank you, Brian. I really appreciate it. I know you are a very busy man, all occupied. But you tried by all means to squeeze up my schedule.
Sure.
So I consider myself blessed.
Great stuff, great stuff. Oh, no, go ahead. Like, yeah,
no problem. No,
sure.
I guess it's a joke.
Yeah.
But either way, thank you very much for coming.
Sure.
So, I wanted us to talk about 4 or 3 topics. But the main one, the current state of football in South Africa.
Sure.
I don't know, what do you think of the current state of football in South Africa?
I think it has shifted a bit. It's quite interesting looking at how teams they are performing now, particularly in the DStv Premiership. You look at the newcomers, Richards Bay, they are currently number 2 now on the log. It doesn't happen quite often. You see a team from a lower division coming into a top flight division and then all of a sudden they are even in the top 4. So yeah, it has shifted. It's quite interesting. We love what we see. There's competitiveness, there's balance, more especially what just happened this past weekend. Pirates bringing a balance in South African football. So yeah, the current state of football is quite interesting.
So would you say another progress? Are we progressing? Are we going somewhere?
Yeah, definitely the progress is there. I'm not quite sure if the progress that you are referring to is seeing Bafana playing in the World Cup in the next future, or in the near future. I'm not quite sure, but there is progress.
I'm talking about South African Football Association as a whole.
Yeah.
In terms of national team, local teams.
Yeah.
Are we progressing?
That's a quite interesting question. That's a quite interesting question. Let me say there is progress in the top flight, DStv Premiership, to be precise. In other leagues, I'm not quite sure.
Like, how do we say we are progressing? But remember, because if we say we are progressing, let's say the performance of Mamelodi Sundowns.
Sure.
Remember, we're talking about local, and Mamelodi Sundowns is not playing local players only.
Sure. Yeah.
They are mixed. So how does that benefit SAF in terms of growth of football in South Africa? If a team, a certain team, a progress and the national team is a progress, are we saying we are progressing?
There is progress, yes. I strongly believe for it. There is progress. You are mentioning Mamelodi Sundowns. You are mentioning a mix of players for Mamelodi Sundowns. But you look at the current crop of players now for Mamelodi Sundowns. A lot of those players, they are South African-based players.
They are leading goal scorer.
We are not only talking about goal scoring. We are talking about progress holistically. So we can't say progress is only goal scoring.
If we are progressing as a nation,
sure,
we should have top strike as a South African.
Yeah.
That's how I was trying to refer it.
Okay.
But I can't say.
But that's a different subject altogether. Don't you think that's a different subject altogether? Because goal scoring and then progress holistically, those are 2 different subjects. Yes, football, we are progressing. And some saying, I'm not quite sure in terms of Bafana playing in the World Cup in the near future. I'm not quite sure. But it is interesting. For the fact that it's interesting, then there's progress somehow.
But I feel like
we are progressing.
Yeah, we are
going backwards.
Yeah.
Also,
we've tried different coaches.
Sure.
Yeah. Not just any coach. Best coaches like Carlos Pereira. I don't know if I pronounce the name.
Yeah.
But there's no any progress.
Yeah.
Like coming to you personally, I could answer this question.
Sure.
Would you say problem ya Bafana Bafana? The coaches, players, or our top management of us?
I think, mind you, I don't watch Bafana games.
Why?
I'm tired of watching Bafana games because for me it doesn't make sense where you see top players playing in the top flight and then they get to be mixed with players who are playing abroad, but those players, they don't perform for the national squad. So I don't know, maybe there's something Elomori is not encouraging the players from management and then going downwards to the technical team. I don't know, there has to be something. I'm not quite sure what it is anymore. Maybe somewhere, somehow, it doesn't motivate the players. Yeah, there is something.
Between players, coaches, and top management.
Yeah.
From the president of SAFA to coaches, the whole technical staff, including players.
Sure.
There is problem, definitely. And I'm going to make sure the thoughts are not deep into it.
Okay. No, great stuff.
We're going to find out what's really going on. Because we are concerned as South Africans, our football as a whole.
Sure.
To some, they say it's growing because their teams in Bawin and all that. But for me, I feel like no, man.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
And talking about top management of the South African Football Association, the president himself, he's been there for what, donkey years. You look at him as a football person. Is he a football person? No. So
he can't even chest track.
Yes.
He can't even throw.
Yeah.
Even if he can't throw a ball up.
Definitely. Hence, I also mentioned, or yes, the problem in terms of maybe the players not getting encouragement, it must have started from the top dogs. Safa.
Yeah. When we talk about encouragement,
sure,
I want us to compare from 1995, Kanawela with Dr. Kumalo, 2002, Kanawabo Jawule,
sure.
Currently, 2022, Kanawabo to Limbo Solochabo, Tambazwane. Everybody like encouragement in terms of nationality or economy. We encourage our players, like Renyaga, what do we need? Because if you can check 1995, Nagobo, Dr. Kumalo, they did good.
Sure.
2002 instances lower down our football, Boja Wikule, Bela Luka, Lebare, very enjoy watching them. And now, Kotala Temba Zwane, Kotembingo Siloji. So, what do they really need? Because in terms of payment,
they are fine.
They are getting well paid.
They are getting well paid.
I want to understand, is it financially or do they really paying for the badge or Banoya? Because just like myself, I'm going to work because I'm getting paid every month.
Okay, financially, yes, that one, let's rule it out because they are well paid. It has been well documented. Maybe somehow it's a case of the players not playing for the badge of the national country. As I've mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I really don't understand how come players who are top players in the DSTV Premiership, they get to be mixed with players who are playing abroad. And then those players, they come in together to represent the national squad, but still, they don't perform. I really don't understand that psychology, or what sparks that psychology, because we are talking about top players from those who are representing the country abroad and those who are playing in the DSTV Premiership. It's something else. And I also think happily the former players, like we've mentioned 1996, the likes of Dr. Kumalo, Lucas Hadebe, not getting those opportunities via the South African Football Association. Maybe Leona might have an influence because yes, somehow we have to, let's say maybe agree to these current crop of players, looking up to those players who represented South Africa back in 1996, 2002. So we are not seeing much of those players who played before and we regard them as legends now are having maybe those positions of power in the South African Football Association. You look at other countries in terms of their football federations, former players they are taking over.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So why is that Morena Esairahan?
The Madalas they still want to eat.
We have Room.
Sure.
Who can be president there, sir?
Yeah.
Dr. Kumalo can do well. I'm sure. I'm definitely sure.
Definitely, yes.
The whole squad as a class of, is it 1996?
96, yes, 96, yeah.
Why can't we take them over, please, say, body position and say them would occupy like this old Mandala, whatever you call them.
Yeah.
Sorry to mention.
Yeah.
Then I was surprised.
Yeah.
So I want us to talk about all those three coaches.
Sure.
Do you really think they all deserve the way they were placed? Like Roland Mokoena as head coach, Manola is it first team coach?
Yes, and then as a senior coach. Yeah.
So I want us to break it down and make people understand what does that mean, what is their role, what is first team senior coach mean, what does head coach mean, first team coach mean, something like that. I want us to talk about that, make people aware. Because we have a lot of Mamelodi Sundowns fans.
Yes.
They just support Sundowns because
Sundowns keeps on winning. Nothing else.
They don't understand something about football.
Sure.
That's why I brought something like that, so we can break it down.
Yeah. Fine. It was a shock to me when I saw it first thing in the afternoon. I think it was on Monday, right? Yes, it was on Monday. And I strongly believe the club itself, Mamelodi Sundowns, in terms of those terms, they are bringing too much complexity in those terms, because you try to understand, okay, senior coach, first team coach, head coach, what the hell is this? So yeah, I think the team itself, they are bringing that complexity in terms of those terms and breaking down those positions. I was really shocked, but thrilled at the same time. Thrilled in a sense, I've realized that Pirates somehow they exposed Sundowns.
Yeah.
And then for that expose, it seems like now the blame goes to Mangoba Mniti. Why is the blame goes to Mangoba Mniti? I don't understand. I don't know how the communication goes about in the dressing room prior to the game, after the game. But the way it came out on Monday, the coaching reshuffle, it's like they were blaming Mangoba Mniti. So now Mangoba, as well as Steve, they will report to Rulani Guardiola. Okay, sorry, Rulani. They will report to Rulani. Rulani, he's a head coach now.
He's the one who is in charge.
Yes, he's the one who is in charge now, Rulani Mkwe. It's like they swapped those chairs the way they were saying. But back to your question, Rulani, an interesting question you asking me that, do I see him as that coach who can carry a huge club like Mamelodi Sundowns?
Let us not say huge. There's only one. Let me not be biased.
Okay. No, yeah, we know Kaizer Chiefs is the biggest. Your club is the biggest club in the country. But it's a huge club, Mamelodi Sundowns. I'm saying huge in terms of their championship wins.
Yeah, African recognition.
Yes. So it's a huge club. I mean, in terms of even making business, Mamelodi Sundowns is a huge club compared to Kaizer Chiefs. Yes, Kaizer Chiefs is the biggest club in South Africa.
In southern part of Africa.
I'm not sure if Kobe will agree to that. So,
even our producer can tell you, in southern part of Africa, Kaizer Chiefs is the best and the biggest.
In terms of fan base, that's it. Nothing else. In terms of fan base, full stop. There's nothing more. So yeah, Rulani, I'm not quite sure, but as long as they work together, the three of them, results definitely will come forth. You look at what Sundowns did last night against Maritzburg United. Results they did came. 5-0 hammering to Maritzburg United. So as long as they work together, the three of them, there's no animosity, then the results definitely will come through.
Because I feel like Mangoba was disrespected in such a manner that
Yeah.
how can a boy like Rulani
Yes.
be boss? It's like he's a boss of Mangoba.
Yeah.
Mangoba is reporting to Rulani.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a workplace. We don't have to like maybe identify the age, who's younger, who's older.
What age doesn't work?
Yeah.
I'm talking in terms of experience.
Sure.
Wanchalwa.
Yeah. But you have to
Mangoba is
also
more experienced than Rulani.
learn. Fine.
As well as Steve.
Yes. And remember, while Peter was there, both of them, they were still there. So they've learned a lot, both of them. So it's a collective thing. And I'm saying, as long as there's no animosity amongst them, they call them what? The three wise men. Yes, as long as there's no animosity, results definitely they will come from.
So do you really think if Peter was still there,
I'm not quite sure, because when Peter was still at Mamelodi Sundowns, it was quite evident. Peter is the main man.
Yeah.
Even though Mangoba and Rulani were there, but it was quite. We have never seen Mangoba and Rulani doing a
all the interviews.
Yeah, the interviews. Yes.
Peter,
Yes. So it was quite evident when Peter was there. Peter was the main man.
I understand.
Sure.
Well, that's what I wanted to hear from you. We clarified the way I think it's all about
Yes. And I agree with you in terms of somewhere somehow maybe the disrespect to Mangoba Mniti, considering where he's coming from as a coach as well as with the club. But we'll see how it goes. There's a significant reason why the club they decided to go that route of giving Rulani Mokoena the head coach position.
I get rumors there about it's a mandate.
Yeah.
They must win.
Yeah.
Bargain direct. African Cup bargain.
Champions League.
Champions
Yes.
League.
Yes. Of which is tough. It's tough. It's tough. Last time they won it was what? Back in 2016 while Peter was still there. It's tough in the CAF Champions League.
Don't you feel like the way they're doing things, say, they are building their own Mamelodi Sundowns by getting rid of all Peter Musiman and Sundowns?
Yeah.
Don't you think Hore but destroy Sundowns?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a destroy per se, because you look at
because all the players are winning CAF Champions League.
Sure.
Yeah. Am I right?
In terms of playing or at the club.
At the club. Or
they are still
regularly starting lineup.
They need on a regular starting lineup, things have changed.
Yeah.
And change is good. Don't you think change is good? Things have changed. Change is good. Some of the players, they are still there, but not necessarily getting game time. I mean, we can start from the number 1 position. You look at Denis Onyango now. He's roaming the bench, like seriously roaming up the bench.
Do you know why is that?
You tell us.
Contractor Ruwe.
Yeah.
As long as he is fit, he must play. Whether on and off form.
Yeah.
As long as he's fit, he must play.
Yeah.
That's how contractor have
Sure.
For the boy, as long as I'm ali fit, ali injury free, he must play.
Yeah. Considering that he's the number 1 Bafana goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I've heard about that one. I didn't look much into it.
So don't you think it's unfair? Someone who's working hard and training to be number 1. You can see when as a coach right?
Yeah.
Someone is really working hard to deserve to be number 1.
Yeah.
But there's BigGuy with his terms and conditions and decided as a team.
Yeah.
Contractor here, BigGuy must always be on the field. As long as he's fit, must always be on the field. On and off form must always be on the field. So don't you think it's unfair for other players?
It seems like there's too much complexity at Mamelodi Sundowns. If it's not the coaching terms, it's the contractual terms.
But that one, it happens everywhere, because even the Kaizer Chiefs, Bergman, our former player, our former all-time leading goal scorer, Bernard Park, the contractor he must get 70% of
game time.
So don't you think it's unfair?
It is a bit unfair because you wouldn't necessarily say now Denis Onyango is off form. He's on the bench due to the contractual terms.
Okay, now moving to Soweto Derby.
Sure. Big game coming through.
And it's sold out.
Yeah.
What they will think the turnout will be. Because Kaizer Chiefs via that is the underdogs.
Let's start off via the sold out. It shows people they've been waiting for the Soweto Derby due to the pandemic that happened for the past 2 years. So I think this is the first Soweto Derby where people they will be watching it full capacity following the coronavirus pandemic. Yes, your club Kaizer Chiefs, they are going into the match as serious underdogs. I have to say it's a make or break game for your coach Arthur Zwane, considering how Chiefs they've been performing thus far. I mean, they've just got knocked off from the MTN 8 this past weekend. Yeah, even though it was a draw, but it is a knockout. It adds serious mounting pressure on the coach Arthur Zwane. I'm not even quite sure, come the beginning of the World Cup, he will still be Kaizer Chiefs coach. And some say...
Coming to that, why Rafael Lapelu, the coach at South Africa, but our foreign coaches, Alba Felepe?
No, don't say we. I'm a sportscaster. Don't say we.
Oh, why? Chairman Rafael Lapelu, foreign coaches, but I mean, Rafael Lapelu, local coaches, but South African coaches, they can give them 2 to 3 seasons.
So you strongly believe football owners in the DSTV Premiership, they quickly pull the trigger on local coaches rather than or compared to foreign coaches? Is that so?
Look at cheaper.
But yeah, because I was trying to understand the context of your question. Cheaper, whether it's local, whether it's a foreign coach, he pulls the trigger. Cheaper being is, and I can tell you the reason. Because Cheaper has a multi-million rand deal with the local Nelson Mandela Bay municipality. He's getting huge chunks of money annually, as long as Cheaper United they are in the DSTV Premiership.
It doesn't matter on which position.
Yeah, it doesn't matter on which position. He's getting that deal from the municipality of Nelson Mandela Bay in Port Elizabeth, formerly. So hence he's pulling the trigger, whether it's a local coach or it's a foreign coach, because his aim is to see his club remaining in the DSTV. Because once his club gets relegated, he will no longer get that funding he's getting from the municipality. That's one thing I know about Cheaper United.
For Cheaper, does it matter if they can go over 100 best without winning test?
Yeah, definitely. His aim is to see his club playing very
Time is no longer on our side. Please quickly give us some prediction for that.
Wow. I hope I'm right. Pirates, they come into this game full of confidence. So somehow they will want to suffocate Chiefs.
So Chiefs or Pirates?
Somehow Pirates, they will want to suffocate Pirates. I mean, guys are Chiefs.
Find out Amazon or Pirates.
No, this one, Pirates definitely they must take it. I'm honored to be with you.
Thank you for sharing. This is Let's Talk with DeezyD podcast. Let's talk football with DeezyD. Thank you for watching. From me, your boy DJ DeezyD, aka #1 certified Victory Hustler. Uncle.